Okay, so years back, we wanted to clean up around the house because some of it was messy and a lot of maintenance and yeah, all that good stuff. So we've had mulch and just flower beds and bushes, all sorts, you name it. Nothing that was easy and maintenance free. So then I thought about putting a sidewalk around the house, but that would look stupid. But all the concrete would make it kind of nice to easy to clean, no weeds growing up, all that kind of fun stuff. Okay, needless to say, we're not going to put a sidewalk around the house. But the concrete, that idea I liked. See, the concrete would hold down weeds, it would make it so there's no dirt splashing against the house. And there's some areas where, you run the tiller, but it's getting pretty tight between the bush and the house to run the tiller through. So there was all sorts of fun reasons. But the sidewalk wasn't going to happen. But I did like the cement. So I did have the idea of a curb, just a 5-inch wide curb. And hey, why not two of them? Then we'd have a drop down area and we could fill it with river rocks. Well, the initial intent was limestone. But once we saw river rock, it was like, yeah, that's better. So once all those bushes were gone, started excavating, most of it just by hand. So first part I did was over here. It's kind of whatever, in between two sidewalks. And so I made a curb to continue the curb that was going to go around the house. And this curb was also going to help keep this styrofoam, which was also being put in place since this old house didn't have any insulation. So this part was done. There was 3 holes that you could see were made out of buckets that would let us plant some plants inside the rock garden, and another square hole for drainage. And the drain was running all the way over to this pit over here. Well, which will be a pit. The next section that was done was the first run to the corner of the house. It's basically a curb against the house, and about 4 feet away, another curb. Then the inside is going to drop down by about 2 inches. Not only that, but it was also getting insulated. Not just against the house. Underneath the cement is going to get insulated, and it will prevent cold from entering under the house or cooling the foundation or whatever cold does to suck heat out of your house. So the whole section was done like that. Across the front, rebar pieces were doweled into the house, and that's going to hold a curb against the house. And yes, none of them look straight because they're all going in at an angle to try to prevent it from pulling itself out. And you can see they also had hooks on them. So each corner of the house has a downspout, and here I created a trough that collects all the water and sends it down this pipe. So you can see the grate that is underneath the stones. That's where all the water in this area goes down. So under the ground here, there's a pipe that runs under there. And in this other corner, that's where one of the troughs is. I removed all the rocks just to show you that this is the kind of trough that collects all the water from 2 directions. So here's where that pipe comes out from that other area, that black pipe. And it's probably only a 1-inch pipe, but I mean, it lets water through, and it, according to this, it lets bits and pieces through, so it tends to wash itself out. It hasn't clogged up yet. Then everything just sends on down the drain through the big 4-inch pipe. So here on this side, it's kind of sloped towards the outside, and then by the pit here, it kind of tapers back in and drains into that pit. Everything's initially sloped away from the house, I think by about 2 inches or so. And we do get a fair bit of dirt in there from grass clippings, and dust just blows around. It doesn't wash itself out, but I mean, it does wash out eventually. As you can see, it's not that easy to rinse out, but weeds aren't growing in there, so that's the main thing. No weeds. And I'm sure with enough of a heavy rain, it probably washes a bit of this stuff out by itself. And on the other side, it's not nearly as an aggressive slope, but everything does slope out away from the house against that curb, and then it heads to either side. So this is how that pit actually gets closed up. It's basically some grates kind of finessed to fit in there, and a couple more grates that just kind of taper to accommodate the shape of the concrete there. And then you basically just cover them up with the river rocks. That holds them in place, and level them kind of off. Spread them out nice and even. Make sure every area is covered. And you don't even need a thick layer of stones, just enough to, most people see it from an angle. If you're looking straight down, you can probably see concrete. But either way, it still looks pretty good. So you just level them off, and you don't even know that there's a trough under there, that there's a pit or anything. Water just disappears. Hose them down, cleans them up a little bit. Even you notice the odd leaves in there. The leaves you hardly notice. Initially it was like, oh, that sucks, still leaves. But eventually they just kind of blend in. They curl away, blend in, die off, and you hardly notice them. Eventually the wind takes them away. And put some real mushrooms back in the corner here for decoration. One day I'll get them painted.
Hey, I got something to say. I'm just so sick of hearing everyone complain. I know it's tough and I know there's pain, but hitting bottom is the only way to change. So I'll keep hustling, you keep struggling. Bitch, I'm humbling, keep mumbling. I'll keep doubling, you keep bluffing. You've got nothing, I'll keep hustling.